Arjun Mathur, welcome to E Times. Welcome to How I Made It. And you really deserve to be there. We are very happy
Thank
to
you.
talk to
Thank
you.
you so much.
You perfectly fit the title How I Made It.
Thank you so much, Vicky. Lovely to be here. Thank you for having me.
Arjun, really want to get into the entire struggle because before you made it. So let's start from your early days and what
hmm
was going through in your mind because you did a spate of films, and you did
hmm
good films. You did, but those films you were not noticed. You had good roles, but you didn't
hmm
get a flood of offers.
hmm
What was going on?
Well, gee. Well, actually, I think on the contrary, there were good films. See, where commercial Bollywood is concerned, I think I was a part of a few big films
Mm-hmm.
in which I was in which I was noticed. I was noticed to be a good actor, certainly, But yes, you're right that the so-called big offers, leading parts in Bollywood films, and so to speak, those certainly evaded me. Um, yeah, and I found that where commercial Bollywood was concerned, I found myself getting a little bit slotted in at the time the best friend uh, category, so to speak, where I felt like I was kind of being used as an embellishment in otherwise just like star vehicles, and I wasn't too happy with that. So I kind of shifted my focus a bit to more independent films, smaller films, which I didn't really know how much they would be seen, etc., or what kind of box office numbers they would bring, but they were giving me a lot of creative satisfaction, and I was getting to shoulder those projects. I think at the end of it, every actor wants to be a part of films and do films in which they bear more of a responsibility, where they are more consequential to the happenings of the plot.
But क्या चल रहा था उस वक्त when you started with Migration as your first film as in
So
2007?
my honestly, I was very naive in the beginning. I was like, हाँ मैं बस एक सेट पर पहुंचूंगा, लोग देखेंगे मैं कितनी अच्छी एक्टिंग करता हूँ और फटाफट मेरे को ऑफर्स आएंगे. That was definitely the naivety of the time.
Hmm.
Um, when migration came to me, I had no plan. I had not thought about what is a strategic good move to make or wagera. I did not think about all that too much. Here I had the opportunity as an aspiring actor to be in a film directed by Meera Nair opposite Mr. Irfan Khan. तो कौन ना करता है? So I did that. I didn't think about it at the time. But I do realize that Migration or जो दूसरी थी Positive of the same series, Farhan's film, I think those films did kind of slot me a little bit immediately as an actor who is अच्छा ये थोड़ा serious काम करता है, ये थोड़ा issue based cinema करता है ऐसा. And then came Luck by Chance, in which I had a small but excellent part, and I think people still remember me a lot for that part. But the through films like Luck by Chance and My Name is Khan and My Friend Pinto, etc., that is what I found, that I was kind of getting slotted as this like best friend kind of, which going through my mind at the time, I think going a little further down the line, because actually I would say that the struggle actually started after the first film. You know what I mean?
तो
So,
उस दौरान what about the money factor, Arjun? क्या हो रहा था?
so
Who
I,
was
al-
helping you? Because was it easy to maintain a living in Mumbai?
I must say, I must give credit to my father. I'm very fortunate that after my first year in Mumbai, he bought an apartment. So I was living in that one bedroom apartment. I lived in it for about 15 years. And so I was very lucky to at least have that roof over my head and not be paying rent. Otherwise, certainly the situation would have been much more difficult. And I kept doing ads actually for the money. The independent films were paying me as they were paying me. None of them had, but ads really kept me going at the time. I used to do ads and I did well. I did in my until a few years ago, I was doing a lot of ads, and I've done over 35 to 50 ads, including one really large campaign for Godrej. I was a Godrej brand ambassador for like 3 odd years. So ads kept me going, to be very honest with you.
You kept calling up producers, you kept texting them, you did not get replies.
I,
Was there a phase
I
of such kind?
no, to be honest, as a person, I've always been someone who's not been the best at pushing myself or putting myself out there, or आई नो कि यू नो कि वैसे काम मांगने में कुछ है नहीं, पर फिर भी मुझसे ऐसा ज्यादा काम मांगा नहीं गया. आई ऑलवेज जस्ट काइंड ऑफ बिलीव दैट आई एम गोना जस्ट कीप डूइंग doing the best that I can from the best of what's offered to me. And I think मैं करता जाऊंगा. All I can do is really, the only thing that's really in our control is just doing the best we can from the choices that we have in front of us. I did, because I think by the time I was also kind of a little disillusioned for sure. I was at the time, I was much younger. I'm 38 now. I was 25 or so, 26 when I started acting. And I think back then when I first started realizing कि अच्छा यहाँ पर तो talent is not everything, and तो वो बात लेकर काफी टाइम तक मैं शायद थोड़ा bitter था, angry था. So I think I was too proud maybe to just ask for work. You know what I mean? Because
So if you
पता
say
नहीं
that,
शायद
यहाँ talent ही सिर्फ नहीं चलता है, then what else
जी.
were you noticing that चलता है?
So box office numbers primarily. I mean, it's all about like your box office numbers, or and rightly so. It is a business also, after all. So वही है, and those box office numbers are brought in different ways. They can be brought in by whose son and or daughter you are. They can also be brought in by how well you dance, or how well you fight, or what kind of image you've built for yourself. So those are things that I unfortunately didn't come with. I don't have a name attached. I'm not like too into the singy dancey kind of acting zone. And so there's many factors other than just raw, I mean, acting talent that make a difference, that determine how easily producers are able to cast you. It's not that filmmakers didn't want to cast me. Many a time I've had, I was right up there in the running between the final 2 3 people for parts in films that would have changed my life really. But um, I've had experiences where I've had one filmmaker tell me that I really want to cast you in this film. बहुत बड़ी film थी, and but I can't, like the market is just not going to allow me, so I won't get the budget that I require for the film. Another time I had someone tell me that it was a 2 hero project and I couldn't be cast as the other person because I was actually much better than the other actor who happened to be a star relation.
Who happened to be a
So
star
ऐसे
kid, you're saying?
yeah, kind of like yeah, like the film was one of his launch kind of vehicles, but I couldn't be that main supporting guy in it. I've been told things like this to my face, and yes, they can be very discouraging if you look at it that way, but it can also be quite encouraging. It can also be के okay, आपने अगर मुझे ऐसा बोल रहे हो तो ठीक है, so I'm just gonna I've always tried to use these experiences as my fuel, sir. Honestly, कि जब मेरे को किसी ने बोला आप ये नहीं कर सकते, आप ये नहीं बन सकते, तो मैंने वही करना चाहा और वही करके दिखाया.
Did you tell your father about these instances, and maybe as a father he told you, leave it, come back?
No, I don't know if I shared so much with my father. And no, he did not ever say that to me, to be honest. उन्होंने मेरे को शुरू में, the first time when I told him when I was about 18 years old that this is what I want to do, उस time उन्होंने अपनी warning दे दी थी मुझे जो देनी थी. And after that, once he saw that how serious I am, he's only ever been supportive. It's true that over the years, even my father, of course, everybody wants to see commercial success. So even when although I'm very proud of all the projects that I've been a part of, there were times when I would go to my father and say, "Acha, ye hai," and his first question to me would be, "Ke acha commercial hai ki nahi hai?" And that would be a little discouraging for me at the time, because I knew that the path that I'm on I'm trying to do something else. So, and the fact that he wasn't understanding that at the time was a little discouraging for me. But all that has changed now, I
Were
must
there
say.
huge arguments? Were there ugly arguments
No,
between father and son?
no, not really.
Mhm.
Not regarding my career. Maybe I might have maybe lost my cool once or twice and told him, why don't you try to understand what I'm trying to do instead of expecting. But वो तो, that's basic like father son stuff that happens. It's nothing so out of the ordinary at all. No,
Mhm.
he's always tried to be extremely supportive at the end of it.
You said
Yeah,
he gave you a warning before you joined. What was that warning?
just के it's not easy. कि बाहर से जो लगता है वो है नहीं. My father's a hotelier,
Yeah.
and over the years, he's had a few friends in the industry. He was quick to tell me that it's a
Mhm.
tough line. Like you better think hard about this. It's not stable. So much of, like, of course, as a father, everyone wants stability for their kids beyond anything else. कि ठीक है यार, तेरा हाथ और मुंह का निवाला तो चलता रहेगा ना बस. बट इस लाइन में तो उसकी कुछ गारंटी तो होती नहीं है कुछ भी. ही ऑलवेज वांटेड मी टू लाइक get my degree and finish my education, do my college, and train in some professional field. In the beginning, he used to say that do what you want to do, but have a backup.
Hmm.
But I don't know. I'm too risky a fellow for backups.
Okay. So when you say that, you were not calling up producers, you were not texting them, did you attend any parties and try to warm up to them? Did you have instances where somebody famous looked at you and ignored you? Maybe he knew you.
I don't think so. And if, I mean, it's like it's kind of strange when you're at a place, and when you know someone by name and face but you've never met before.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of it, we are human. We're all human, and we don't always all know, okay, how to approach this person, kya bolu, kaise bolu. That becomes very easy when there is some work to speak of, because you can actually just go up to someone and actually appreciate their work. But I don't think I can't recall any such instance where I ever felt that अरे उसने मेरे को ऐसा treat किया, उसने मेरे को ऐसा. People have always been warm, and particularly warm when it's called for. ऐसा थोड़ी कि अब आपको दूर से किसी ने देखा, आपको जानते नहीं, फालतू में आकर आपसे क्यों कोई warm होने लगेगा. But so there's no reason, there's never was anybody overly bitter or rude, and never was anybody overly warm and loving. सब लोग at the end of it अपने काम से काम रखते हैं, and when there's something nice to say to someone, people say it. But that being said, I myself, yeah, you're right, I mean, I pretty much have managed to evade a life where I'm too much into the partying or filmy partying वगैरह. मैं ज्यादा करा नहीं.
You have made it now with this Emmy nomination. But tell me, you almost refused the role, right?
I shared my apprehension with the makers only because मैं ये 2 बार पहले कर चुका था ऐसा character life में, और it's not that I had any hesitation about it. I just felt कि यार अब मैं अपने आप को challenge कर चुका हूँ इसके साथ. There are many other actors out here who can do with that challenge. So I shared that with Zoya, and she just said to me कि okay, I hear you, take it home and read it. और मैंने घर ले गया, और I read those 9 episodes overnight, or by the time I finished, any minute apprehension that I had was gone, and I was just thankful कि इतना जबरदस्त character और show मेरे पास आया है.
But you had played gay in 2 films before, I
That's right,
Am
yeah.
and Migration,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
So what was the difference in approach which you adopted here?
That's interesting, because they all 3 of them had a different approach. The first one to khair I shared with you. Okay, that was just not a no-brainer for me at the time. The second time, when I Am came my way, I was actually already at a place where I had kind of started seeing कि अच्छा मेरे को यहाँ पर इस तरह के break नहीं मिल रहे हैं. And I thought at the time, I thought okay, अगर मेरे को ये रास्ता यहाँ पर सामने पत्थर है, I must try to find my way around it. So number one, in I Am, there was this scene which was getting physically intimate with a man. And I was really, it scared the hell out of me, being a straight heterosexual man. But the actor in me wanted to challenge myself with that. I wanted to overcome that and break that barrier for myself. And secondly, I felt that if I'm not getting to make my name doing what everyone else is doing, then let me try and do what nobody else is doing. So ये थी मेरी सोच when I did I Am, honestly. And then when Made in Heaven came, it was just purely based on the material, the script. What a loud and clear stance it was taking against patriarchy and misogyny and in favor of the queer community. And just these were all things that I think in today's day and age, I really wanted to be a part of this voice. So yeah, that was it. After that, approaching the character was easy because मुझे character में तो कुछ दिखाना नहीं था. Not through any behavior or any mannerisms. I never had to show through that his sexual preference. बस ये alpha है, male है, masculine है. In fact, when women see this guy, women should also desire him. Lekin, sorry, too bad, he likes to sleep with men. That's the way that this was approached.
So Arjun, who gave you the news that you have been nominated for the Emmy International for Best Actor?
It's very interesting. I have a home in Goa और वो मैं Airbnb पर डालता हूँ. तो Shayoni Gupta, my actor friend, whose show is also nominated, was incidentally on her way driving from Bombay to Goa to stay in my house for about a week, 10 days or something. And she was driving. She was on the road from Bombay to Goa when she called me and said, Mathur, have you heard the news? मैंने बोला यार ये क्या न्यूज़ देने वाली है because in दिनों आजकल न्यूज़ तो feels like bad news only. And she was like, read your messages. Instantly, honestly, you would imagine कि पढ़कर मेरे मुंह पर बहुत खुशी आई और मैं हंसा और ये but sir, I'm not lying. My first reaction was, what? नहीं, ये कैसे हो सकता है? What? Someone's lying, someone's joking. ये मुझे believe ही नहीं हो रहा था कि this is real in front of me, and I'm just like. Until then, finally, Aparna called from Amazon and Ritesh का message आया वगैरह तो तब जाकर I was like, okay, this is real. So yeah, it took me a while to start believing it.
So the first call you made was to Zoya.
The first phone call I made, well, I was sitting with my partner, and so she was with me while I received the news. The first message I sent was to my family group immediately कि भाइयों बहनों ये खबर आ रही है, पता नहीं अभी जरा confirm करके बताता हूँ. So I shared that with them, and then yeah, the first phone call I made was to Zoya, who did not know. She had not heard. So I was the first one to tell her, and then to Nitya. Yeah, because the two of them I really had to immediately share it with because
What did she say?
She screamed, shouted, like she was really happy, and so that happened. And then Nitya I called, and I think Nitya had also just received a message from someone when I called her. So she just picked up the phone and she was like, I know. And I was like, what the hell? I'm dying to actually share. I haven't had a chance, to actually celebrate.
Yeah.
Because to be perfectly honest with you, sir, it's like I've just been trying to keep up with my phone. एक तो, मेरे को I'm 48 घंटे पीछे चल रहा हूँ मैं in terms of responding to people. And then of course, like there's been so much interest from kind people like yourself who so I've just been so far I've just been doing interviews and responding. I haven't actually had a moment to stop and feel कि ये क्या हुआ है. But what makes it real for me again is just how happy my family is and how happy all the people who have been a small part of my journey since the time I started, how happy everyone is. That's what's making it real for me at the moment.
The journey which you say now till date has had a personal issue as well. You broke up with your wife, I think in 2012, if I'm not wrong. Did that also slow you down to some extent? Did it hit you badly? Did it take you, a little off track?
I think, honestly, I'll share this. Sure. At the time, it was a very hard time while it was happening, and it was I think it was like towards the end of 2011, through 2011. It was a very tough year for me, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And towards the end of that year, when it finally matters did kind of fall apart, at the time I got offered one film, and it was a film called Fireflies. And my first and when that offer came to me, at the time I had kind of I had gone back home to Delhi for a few months. I was not in a mental space to work, and I was not in a good place. So when the first phone call came, I shared with the director, Sabal Shekhawat, that, you know what, this is what I'm going through in my life right now, and I'm not in any space to work for a few months. मुझे नहीं काम करना है.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the scene. So, okay. And like 2 months passed. And then he called me again and he was like, okay, काफी time हो गया तू अब दिल्ली में कितने time सड़ेगा? Why don't you come and do this film now? So then I did. And I'll be honest, this is as it happens, life is funny like that. कि आपको जिस चीज की जब जरूरत होती है ना, वो आ जाती है उसी time.
Mm-hmm.
Fireflies as a film was the story itself and the character's journey itself was a journey of love, loss, acceptance, letting go, forgiveness. So all this stuff was happening in that script, and it was a really beautifully made. It's a film that's really close to my heart because और वो shoot के लिए भी हम निकल गए, Thailand गए, Sri Lanka गए. I was away from Bombay for 3-4 months, and for 3 months or so. And I think like by the time I came back, I was really 80% healed. And then that year, 2012, proceeded to be one of the best years of my life professionally. I did a really varying degree of projects, and it was, I think, one of my busiest years. I think 5 या 6 project किए मैंने उस साल में. And things were good. I mean, I only look at it as like life. I mean, sure, tough times and everything, but it's all just experience. Yeah, it's all experience that is taking me through the entire spectrum of human emotion, which is honestly really important for an actor. I have that whole experience and memory bank stored in here to pull out and use whenever I want, and give to my performances. And I have. And even Made in Heaven is filled with many instances like that, which, sure, Karan is going through different circumstances, but the actor has pulled out those emotions from some experience in his past. I have, at least.
Mm-hmm.
And people have connected to those. So I'm only thankful for all of it.
But what हुआ क्या था? What was the bone of contention?
Nothing, sir. It's just two people, I think, who two different perspectives and points of view that don't necessarily match. But I think at some point in time, maybe we lack the maturity to see or understand that they don't match. So maybe there's no real bone of contention. There's no bad blood. Sometimes two people are just not meant to be. Sometimes, yes. And when these calls are being taken, things are difficult and things go through their, some amount of friction and everything. But as long as they end up in a place where there's mutual respect and love and forgiveness, it's all for the better, always.
So you all are on talking terms now. I mean, everything, as you said, you're healed and matured.
Yeah, but I mean, not unnecessarily in touch.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no. If there ever was a need to be, then sure.
But you also made it now in one other aspect, and that is Tia Tejpal.
Oh, right.
Tell us about this love story now.
Oh, I mean, nothing to tell. We've met and we were good friends for a long time. And somewhere in the process of, while I was filming Made in Heaven, and she was also working on a project she was working on a film called Karwan. And around that time, we just kind of realized we were both on outdoor schedules and realized that we missed each other, that's it. And then by a strange and amazing coincidence, after the first schedule of Made in Heaven, the makers got in touch with her because they wanted her services in
Production
Delhi.
design.
So that turned out well, then we got a chance to be on the sets together as well.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, the rest is history. I'm
So,
very happy now. I'm very happy. I'm in a very happy, loving, committed relationship with 2 children who are cats, and we're very happy.
so is Arjun open to marriage again?
So marriage, I don't. I mean, I'm open and closed. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I don't see marriage anymore as any kind of. I find it a bit of an archaic institution. I don't necessarily see why the law needs to get involved in the matter of love. But it's okay, to each his own. I think marriage and weddings are two very different things, and marriage between two people can exist without a wedding necessarily happening. And also it's like no sign of commitment, as I've learned कि जो होना होता है वही होता है, उसमें उल्टा आप लीगल सिस्टम को लाकर और अपने लिए कॉम्प्लिकेट कर देते हैं चीजें, in case, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm open though. I mean, whatever. I'm right in the middle about it.
You said that you drew inferences in Made in Heaven from your personal life.
Mm-hmm.
You also draw inferences from your struggle. I mean, here's a guy which I see in Made in Heaven who wants all these projects, all these marriages to happen at any cost. I mean, if you take the first one, he's ready to investigate into the details of the girl. So he's willing to go to any length. I mean, so you draw those inferences that that frustration which he gets sometimes, if the marriage is not happening, if it's going a little here and there.
Yeah.
वो inferences भी आपने इसमें use किए?
I mean, everything at the end of it, every emotion that I'm portraying on screen is coming from my understanding of some time or the other that I may have felt like that. That's the only way that I'm able to, even when a scene is being explained to me, I'm listening, but I'm also thinking simultaneously, okay, अच्छा, like that time when I felt like that. जब उसने मुझे ऐसा कहा था तब मुझे ऐसा, हाँ, अच्छा, समझा. You know what I mean? So that's how I come to understand what a director wants out of me. So I think subconsciously, it's all influencing you all the time in everything. In this respect in particular, I can't say. Can I mean, I'm not so much like Karan. I am not that person who will do anything to make it. So मैं वो तो हूँ नहीं. मैं वो करूँगा जो कि मेरे respect के दायरे में है. So I think Karan also goes through that graph in the show, that yes, in the first episodes you see that they are willing to do anything, but by the last episode you see that they go from that to ruining their own project and breaking up the wedding. So wo bhi ek growth hai. So that's also actually where Karan is in the beginning.
Yeah, so I'm referring to that initial part only with reference to my question.
Yeah, so that initial part, no, I've grown out of that. I've grown out of that initial part in my life also.
So that's growth, Arjun. That's growth.
Thank you.
I wish you all the best for all your future assignments. And thank you so much.
Thank you. Such a
at E-Times.
It was lovely talking to you. What a lovely conversation. Thank you. I really enjoyed that.
Thank you, Arjun.